Welcome back to Snackcast.
I like that hat, man. Told you earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it makes me look younger.
I will not go there.
No, we actually had soccer for my youngest in Wesley Chapel, and they have that big outdoor mall thing. It's like premium outlet shops or whatever.
Right.
And so, anyways, after the game we went for dinner and a little shopping, and I saw it. You and I remember when the Rays were the Devil Rays.
That's right.
And I saw the
little Devil Ray logo.
and I was like, I got to own that.
That's cool.
So we are really kind of wrapping up. I don't even want to call it a series because I think it's gone on for about 8 weeks now, where we initially just started to dive into a couple of the supplements like CoQ10, and it kind of evolved into, hey, let's look at all the vitamins, all the minerals, and then kind of the stuff you'd get in the vitamin aisle at your big box store or whatever. And we've ran through them all. I mean, I don't want to read the list off, but it's a pretty lengthy list of vitamins, minerals, supplements, what they do. What would you say is your biggest takeaway from what we've learned?
It's a very abused industry. I would tell you it's the opposite. I would never say it's like the pharmaceutical industry. Never. Like, you're talking about like the devil and all his pals and, someone who's sinned once.
Yeah.
I think the vitamin and mineral industry does do a fantastic job of marketing. Fantastic. But they don't own all of the doctors and, hospitals and universities like the...
They're not backed by the federal government.
So, my sum up would be that there are a handful of vitamins and minerals, and people can be vitamin and mineral depleted. There's no doubt. But I think it's a tremendous oversell for a lot of them. Right. And we've tried quite a few. There's quite a few that work. And there's, we talked about apple cider vinegar and how it's so powerful. Iodine, both internally taken as well as externally used in, I showed you a picture, and we're going to circle back out to that on the scarring and how iodine is used in my personal use with it on my son. Vitamin D and how it's so important. So the first thing I would say is, get to we've always said this, right? Get to the core of why you're vitamin and mineral deficient. And then let's go from there. You might be because of geography, right? That you live in a Midwestern state. And, it might be geography again because you live in a northern state and you don't get vitamin D. You don't get some of these things. So there are good uses of vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, I think to kind of add to that, supplementing vitamins and minerals and the other stuff, the CoQ10s and all of that, I feel like we believe it's a replacement therapy to continue with a poor lifestyle.
I would agree with that. Isn't that what prescriptions are all about?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same mentality. It doesn't drift far from that one. It's Nexium is okay to take, because it helps me with my acid reflux because I maintain a poor diet.
Yeah.
I mean so taking vitamins and minerals, if you are on the standard American diet, carbs, sugars, breads,
high fat, high protein, high carb,
right? Probably lacking in exercise as well. Even if you're not lacking in exercise, we've always said exercise is cherry on top. You are vitamin and mineral depleted. I will go out on that very strong limb and say you're vitamin and mineral depleted.
Well, I mean, most of the food we eat has none in it. I say we, as in the big food.
Well, I'll take it a step further. It's not just that even that it has not anything in it. Your body is using like hydrochloric acid again. Your body is trying to digest this crap that you are calling food, and then you wonder why you're vitamin and mineral depleted. Frosted Flakes are not food.
They're not.
So if you're on the standard American diet, right, you're vitamin and mineral depleted, and then you start getting ill, you start creating illnesses for yourself, and you start taking medicines, and then you're vitamin and mineral depleted again. It's like it's an endless cycle. I was watching one of the YouTube guys that I pay attention to, and he was pointing that out. He was like, go watch a Saturday or Friday evening or Thursday evening show on TV, and if it's not sponsored by food, it's sponsored by pharma. You know?
Yeah.
You're on the hamster wheel, man.
I don't know. Do they outspend the car dealers? There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about that before. Pharmaceutical industry is the number one advertiser by far.
And the numbers are almost like, I think I heard 80%.
Yeah, it's
hard to
high.
find.
It was like 70, if I recall. And their best friend is big food.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, you keep them ill, and I'll be the white knight. How's that sound? And then we'll both take it to the bank. So, you know, we are often of spiritual minds on this show, and I think you said it today, something like that. If it's not of God, not of nature, it doesn't belong in your body. And this is a situation where I would come back and I would say that is absolutely true.
You know, man, and I will tell you that 15, 20 years ago, when the whole organic food thing started, you had a colleague, and he told me a story about a buddy that had a depleted orange grove. Like it was an old one, right? And the guy was really holding the property for future investment. I'll sell it one day to a developer, they'll put houses in, whatever. And somebody called him up and said, hey, what are you doing with your grove? And he said, nothing. And they said, we'd like to harvest it. Do you not use chemicals? And he's like, no, I literally do nothing to the grove. And so they went in and harvested it as organic. My point in telling that story is early on, when organic kind of started getting real traction, I was a complete cynic. I was like, this is nonsense. This is stupid. We grow better foods when it's fertilized and, blah, blah, blah. But what we have learned about even grain-fed beef as opposed to grass-fed, and the hormones and there is something when the natural foods, the steaks that you buy at your big box store are full of garbage compared to a grass-fed, locally harvested, cow.
Right.
When they're loaded with junk, imagine what is in the boxed food.
Right.
And the stuff, we mentioned it before, if it can sit in your pantry and never goes bad, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Right. Well, that goes for, agriculture as far as growing food as well, right? I mean, they constantly deplete the soils. They throw the glyphosate on the soil, and then you eat the food that's grown out of that soil. I mean, it's mind blowing. I mean, it's if I was a conspiracy theorist, and I probably am, I would be saying they're trying to keep us ill.
Well, and yeah, don't get me started because I'm right there with you.
The food needs to be raised or grown properly, and it needs to be real. If you're eating a diet of whole food, not processed crap, and you are exercising properly, this is a pretty simple formula. Right? You probably can go down your list of your medications and start to work with your doctor to start to come off some of these things, right? Which is going to be a reverse snowball effect, right? Because you're starting to come off of some of these things and you're starting to get your vitamins and minerals again. I firmly believe there are genetic mutation illnesses, no doubt, but a very large percentage of our illnesses in this country is a direct result of not getting enough vitamins and minerals.
We're fed the wrong information. And to your point, it starts at the top with the big food and the big pharma. I don't have it here, but Kevin and I, we can bring the receipts. There was a well-known Wall Street bank that told a well-known pharma company that we are much more likely to fund and invest in what you're doing if it's subscription-based, if it treats the symptoms and doesn't cure the illness. These conversations really do happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no doubt it's about the money. So circling back around, is there a reason for supplements? I would say yes. There are certain supplements that you go, wow, that does that. And then you start to go, but you probably shouldn't need those if you were well fed.
In part, yeah. We all have genetic,
right,
quirks, right? We're all a little different than the other guy. But I think the main thing is food supply, and then you get into absorption. And the things that affect the absorption is, even if you start eating right, it may take you a while. Because getting the gut, getting the biome, all regulated back out after years of abuse is going to be difficult. So it starts with your food. Eat as clean as you can, but you probably have to supplement because absorption is such a real problem, especially if you're on daily prescription meds, because they just screw up your gut, severely. So I hope you guys learn something, from.
But this stuff. I mean, I know you're kind of wrapping up here, and I'll finish.
No, we can go on as long as you want.
No, this is not new information, is what I want to point out. The scientists in the 1930s realized that people that ate high carbohydrate diets had vitamin B deficiencies. The Food and Drug Administration, whoever's responsible for the pyramid.
It's my plate, Kevin.
My plate, whatever. They have known this information for damn near 100 years.
Doesn't make people wealthy.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So in wrapping up, I'll say if you really need some help and you want someone to talk to, email us at the Snackcast. Scott and I will pick up the email. We'll give you a phone call. We'll talk to you. We'll
point you towards books.
Kinds of areas we can point you towards to get you on the path. And but if you're serious, if you're not serious and you still want to eat your sandwich. You're barking up the wrong tree. There's a story behind that.
There is a story, but we'll save it for another day.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, we enjoyed bringing this information. I can tell you, it was personally eye-opening. There's a few supplements that I have started. I'm definitely doing the apple cider vinegar. I'm doing the turmeric, however you say that stupid word. I was going to introduce probiotics as well, but I thought, the ACV and the effects on the gut. But if I did them both, if I started them both at the same time, I wouldn't know.
You're also doing the electrolytes, right?
I do the electrolytes. I don't know if those vitamins. I don't know, but yes, I'm going to continue doing. I do a double load of. It's actually called Pure Boost, and I do the ACV, the turmeric, and I try and eat right. So my big thing is I do enjoy beer, and that's why I'm thinking the ACV, maybe the probiotics, because I'm sure I don't do my gut
well, man,
any favors.
I'm the biggest benefactor from this vitamin and mineral series. I mean, I got a son who's fixing his scar, his keloid, due to the iodine we're putting on that, and we're going to show before and after at some point in time. He's on like day 15. The other thing is that I'm off all medication. Yeah. I don't take a thing outside of my electrolytes and my apple cider vinegar now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I've never been on anything, but no. I refuse. They're liars. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. If you would like guidance, we're here. Email us at snackcast@yes.fit.
Stay moving.
See ya.